Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a good old-fashioned anti-haul. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, I feel like. I used to do them on my channel every single month, but then I kind of switched it up and turned things into my New in Beauty series, so I could kind of more broadly talk about new beauty launches and not just the ones that I was passing over because they just either made no sense to me or weren't interesting to me. But because I have not been able to film as much lately and I missed a month of my New in Beauty series, I had a lot to talk about this month, and I did share my thoughts on a bunch of those new launches in my recent New in Beauty video, but for the sake of time, I decided that I would need to save some of the products I wanted to talk about for a separate video, and that it might be fun to do it, you know, anti-haul style. Yes, I am filming this on the same day that I filmed my New in Beauty video. Yes, I did change my top, and I would be lying if I said it was because I was trying to be a good YouTuber and, you know, like, switch up my aesthetic. I was eating cherries, and I spilled cherry juice all over my white shirt, so that's how life goes. Anyway, we've got some beauty products to roast, so without me rambling on any further, let's get into talking about some stuff that I'm not going to buy. So I think I want to kick things off with perhaps the most easily roastable product that I will talk about in this entire video, and that is the new Becca Zero, trademarked, no pigment virtual foundation. So this is a $36 foundation. You get 1 fluid ounce of product. That all sounds pretty typical to me. However, the shtick with this is that it is a makeup and skincare hybrid that is supposed to blur the look of imperfections on your skin, leave it with a nice matte finish. Again, sounds pretty typical, pretty nice for a foundation, but it is completely transparent and can be used by any skin tone. Now, I don't know about you, but every foundation I've ever tried has pigment in it. That's kind of like literally the point. It's to provide some level of coverage on your skin to even out your skin tone, cover up imperfections, etc. But this product is claiming to have some of the benefits of a traditional foundation, but without the pigment. And honestly, to me, I feel like this is just a gimmick that's kind of piggybacking on the inclusivity trend. Like, Becca is going, aha, well, if we launch a product with no pigment in it, then it will automatically be the most inclusive foundation on the market. Except for the fact that to be the most inclusive foundation, you actually have to be a foundation, and just because you call a product a foundation doesn't necessarily make it so. This is, by look and by description, on all accounts, a makeup primer. Like, it essentially looks the way that, like, the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer looks, except that this is a silicone-free formula, and the Smashbox Primer is silicone-based, and a lot of transparent mattifying primers do have silicones in them. Now, here's the thing. Even though this looks and seems very gimmicky to me, if the reviews were great, if it seemed to actually work, if people I trusted were like, wow, this is like the most amazing thing I've ever put on my skin, I might actually like eat my words, take a step back and be like, okay, maybe this is a really revolutionary makeup product. However, all of the reviews I've seen of this so far have not been that great. I've seen Jen Love's reviews and Kathleen Light's and Wayne Goss all talk about this product, and all of them kind of had the same thing to say. They basically said that it goes on the skin feeling very wet and cooling. It actually makes your skin look more hydrated than matte, which is, you know, not what the claims say. And it also doesn't seem to really blur the look of skin texture all that much, which is also not what the claims say. And on top of all of that, I'm pretty sure Kathleen or Wayne, somebody talked about how it actually works as a primer under foundation, and it didn't work well. Part of that being the formulation. It's a non-silicone based, you know, product, so it's not going to play well with silicone-based foundations, which a lot of them are. So even if you bought this product thinking that you could use it by itself or also as a makeup primer, it actually might not even work as a primer. So you pretty much could only use it as a foundation, and if you don't really like the way that it looks and it's not really doing very much for your skin, like, that seems like a giant waste of $36 to me. Now, I'm looking at the Becca website right now, and this product has 101 reviews and 4 stars, which is surprising to me, I'm not gonna lie. Now, from what I can see, I think this product was sent out to a bunch of people through Influencer, and those reviews comprise the majority of these reviews that are on the website, so I think most of these people got this product for free, which may or may not bias their opinion. Some people say they like it because it hydrates their skin and then it, did blur the look of imperfections for them. Some people say it's only really good if your skin already looks pretty perfect. So long story short, I really have no desire to buy this, to try it, to review it. I feel like there are already some trustworthy opinions out there, and that, I don't know, it seems honestly to me like it would be a waste of money. If I got a free sample, sure, I'd try it to see, what it was like, and if it did end up being amazing, I would tell you guys, because I have absolutely no problem admitting that I am wrong when I am wrong. But honestly, if I was gonna recommend a product to you guys for the days where you don't wanna wear a lot of makeup, where you want to have your skin look perfected, and you also wanna protect it from the sun, get the Coats Face Prime and Protect. This is a silicone-based product, but because of that, it really fills in pores and blurs out your skin texture. It has a slight bit of tint to it, so it has a very slight amount of color correcting, and it has mineral-based sunscreen in it, and a decent amount at that. So this is a perfect product to wear by itself, to wear under makeup. It's a great sunscreen, and it's like $20-something. So if it were me, I would say save yourself some money, get something like this, and maybe pass on the Becca. Now, along with the No Pigment foundation, they also launched this Zero No Pigment Glass Highlighter for face and lip. This is basically a clear lip gloss, but with a thinner, slightly less sticky formula that you can use to add some shine to your face. And again, this has zero appeal to me. If I wanted to get just a plain clear lip gloss, I'm pretty sure I could find one for a fraction of the price at the drugstore, because it's $24. And there's nothing appealing to me about a wet actual lip gloss highlight on my face. I generally tend to prefer powder highlights, and I feel like there are so many good, beautiful, thin, non-texture enhancing powder highlights out there on the market. I'm happy with those. I don't know, this is not something that interests me. Again, I feel like it's part of the shtick, it's part of the gimmick. They're trying to make this zero thing a thing. All I can think of is Mean Girls. Stop making zero try to happen. It's not going to happen, Gretchen. So yeah, anyway, let's move along. Next on my list is a highlighter, but this is actually a legitimate powder highlighter. So Huda Beauty is coming out with this Nymph highlighting powder, and Nymph stands for something. It's an acronym. It's not your mother's pantyhose, I think, or something like that. Now, she already previously, I think last summer, had come out with a liquid version of this product. So it was a liquid body highlight that you could buff on and give your skin that, really gorgeous glow. And now she is launching a powder version that can be used for face and body, along with a special highlighting powder brush. Now, I will give Huda this. The aesthetic of this product is absolutely stunning. The packaging is kind of pinky rose gold. The actual pan itself has this geometric rose design cut into it. Super, super pretty. However, it is $55 for this product. $55 for a face and body highlight. And probably the reason the price is so high is that the compact is absolutely freaking massive. It's as big as my head. And if I was someone that frequently panned highlights and wore body highlight every single day, maybe having an extra jumbo-sized highlight would be appealing to me. But I'm not that person. I have zero need for a face and body highlight, and especially one that's that expensive and that big. And I'm not saying it's not pretty. I mean, looking at the swatches of this, it seems like a more sheer formula than a lot of powder highlights that we're used to seeing that are meant for the face, which I think makes sense. being a body highlight, you want it to have more of that almost like transparent, sparkly quality to it, kind of akin to like the Fenty Diamond Bomb. But it's also, honestly, like looking at the promotional pictures, not anything that like completely blows my mind. I mean, I don't know. It's possible if I was to see this in person, maybe I would feel differently about the product itself, but it still stands that it's a $55 highlight. And the only real way I could justify buying this would be if I was using it for my body, and I know that I'm not going to. 2020, I feel like, is the year where all of my glamour is just going out the window. I'm wearing pajamas most days until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The only time I put on makeup and get dressed up is basically when I'm sitting down to film, but the rest of the time I'm basically being a bum and now chasing a tiny puppy around my house. I feel like if this was launched last year when body highlights were like a really big craze, this probably would have done really well, but right now I'm kind of unsure how well this product will do. I'm sure there are some people that love Huda Beauty and buy everything that they launch and will definitely pick this up. And there will also be people that will fall for the beautiful aesthetic and the packaging. But I think a lot of people are probably going to pass over this just because we're in the middle of a pandemic. There are other things we could be spending our money on, and maybe a giant body highlight is not the most practical of those things. And let me put it out there, because I didn't say this earlier. If you want to buy any of these things, I mean absolutely no ill will to you. I'm not the kind of person that makes fun of people or judges people or like gets on their case for doing anything. You do you with your money. You buy whatever makes you happy. I am not here to judge or criticize you. I want to have some playful fun throwing some shade at things that I think are a little bit silly. Okay, so moving along, let's talk about Morphe 2. So Morphe has decided to launch a new line underneath their umbrella called Morphe 2, and it was apparently created by a couple of TikTok stars, and it totally has like Gen Z makeup vibes. It's not necessarily no makeup because there are definitely things with like pops of color and shimmer, but all the products tend to be a lot more sheer, they're a lot more youthful, definitely has those like teenager-y type vibes to me. I think Kathleen Lights described it as kind of like Morphe's version of Glossier, and I feel like that's a good way to describe what they're doing. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you may have noticed that I don't use and talk about Morphe here on my channel, and that is very intentional. I really have no interest in supporting the brand, and I haven't for a very long time. Honestly, like way back in the day, I never really was that into them. I did buy the original Jaclyn Hill palette when that first launched, and I also tried a few of their brushes, that Jaclyn had recommended, as well as their continuous setting mist. But I feel like over the last couple of years, I've just decided that I would honestly rather personally invest my money and my influence elsewhere. And I honestly don't even normally talk about their launches in my New in Beauty series, but I kind of wanted to bring this up because of the most recent things that have happened with them kind of parting ways with Jeffree Star. And honestly, it doesn't really change anything for me. I still feel like there's enough in the history of the brand, and just like, I don't know, their products are fine, and I get that they're a lower price point, but I think there are a lot of other brands that also have affordably priced products that are probably more deserving of your cash money. So that's just me. That is my opinion. I'm not going to change my, buying preferences when it comes to Morphe, and therefore I'm definitely not buying this new Morphe 2 line. But honestly, even if this wasn't Morphe, if I saw this under a different brand, I still wouldn't be interested in this line just because I feel like it is not my makeup aesthetic. I do like kind of more natural looks, but I feel like my version of natural is more like M Cosmetics or Persona Cosmetics. I feel like kind of that elevated, professional, elegant like look that I really like. But the kind of more playful, there but not there, kind of colorful, glittery, like that TV show Euphoria, like those kind of vibes, That's honestly not really me at this point in my life. I'm 33 years old. I kind of feel like maybe when I was 16, I would be really into a line like this, but right now, not so much. Okay, so this next one, I kind of like randomly stumbled upon while I was looking on the Sephora website, and I just saw this and was like, what? So Ciate London did a couple collab products with Smiley World. Does anyone know what Smiley World is? I have no idea what Smiley World is. I know what a smiley face is. I know what an emoji is, but I have no idea what Smiley World is. I'm old and I apparently live under a rock. Anyway, they launched this little like lip balm with little smiley faces on it and this little eyeshadow compact with like a smiley face on it. And I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna buy this, hence it being in the anti-haul. But really, I kind of wanted to bring this up more just to talk about Ciate in general, because I kind of feel like, guys, what's going on? Ciate is one of those brands that annoys me a little bit because I feel like they have so much potential. They have a few products that are really very good. Like I have one of these little Astrolights jeweled eyeshadow palettes that they launched a couple of years ago, and this is beautiful. I really like this palette a lot. I feel like nobody talked about it, and I'm pretty sure you can still buy it, and I think it's a really beautiful warm tone palette. I love the like purpley shades in here. It's super pretty. So I feel like they have this very like underrated quality to them. Like their blushes are beautiful, their highlights are beautiful. Like they're definitely capable of making really nice products. A lot of their powder products are made in Italy. Yeah, like this one's made in Italy. The blushes that I have that are really nice are made in Italy. But then they'll do these collabs and then they'll launch these products that are just like, they're not great. They get terrible reviews and they're really disappointing. Like I know they did a collab with Jessica Rabbit, which some people were really into, but it just kind of seemed random and out of nowhere. And I don't think the products, you know, were very popular. I don't think people like them very much. And I just feel like it kind of discredits the brand as a whole. Like people just don't think about them and pay attention to them. People aren't like waiting to see what their newest launch is going to be because I feel like they haven't been consistently launching products that people are excited about. And they don't have like a hero product yet that I feel like everybody knows them for, which honestly may not be a bad thing because I feel like, take Stila, for example. Everybody knows the Glitter and Glow eyeshadows, but I feel like aside from maybe their Stay All Day eyeliner, like nobody really talks about or cares about anything else Stila has done. So they've done these to death and have tried to launch some other products that are kind of like inspired by the Glitter and Glow, but I feel like they've never been able to replicate the success of that product. It's the same thing with Tarte Shape Tape. Tarte I think is they're a little bit bigger. They definitely still have, you know, a pretty solid customer base either way. But I don't know, I just see these brands that have a lot of potential and that can make some really good products, and I feel like they just need to get their ish together and they need to kind of like remarket themselves. Like Ciate's branding, their packaging, everything is super beautiful. I just feel like they need to get back out there. They need to get back in front of people's eyes so people will be more curious to pick up some of their older launches that I think are actually like worth checking out. All right, so this next one is probably going to be kind of controversial, but I'm not planning on buying anything from the new Fenty Skin range. Now, Rihanna and her team definitely are super savvy when it comes to running businesses, and I think this is going to be a super popular line, and it's a really smart addition to Fenty Beauty. Especially right now, I feel like during the pandemic, skincare is much more accessible than makeup. A lot of us are wearing face masks, so a lot of us aren't wearing makeup every day out and about, but we do still all need to take care of our skin. So like, I totally get this. However, the 3 products that she launched I don't think are up my alley. So first is the Hydrovisor Invisible Moisturizer SPF 30. So this is $35 and it's basically a sunscreen infused moisturizer that you could use in the daytime. The one coolest thing about this product that I really commend Rihanna and her team for doing is that they made it refillable. So you can buy the pump, and then once you run out of the product, you can just buy it like a new cartridge to fill inside of it, which is so much more sustainable. I wish more skincare brands would do stuff like that, because I think it just like makes so much more sense. And also from a manufacturing standpoint, you don't have to make as many of the exterior components, which are probably more costly than whatever the little refill cartridge is. So like, win-win for everybody. However, she did decide to go with chemical sunscreen instead of mineral sunscreen for this formulation. And now, given that a large chunk of Fenty's consumer base are people of color, like, I definitely see why a chemical sunscreen would be preferred, because a lot of mineral sunscreens leave a really like whitish, ashy, purplish cast on people with deeper complexions. But I personally am very sensitive to chemical sunscreen. It makes me really oily. It makes my skin irritated. I get tiny little bumps. Like, I just don't have good success with using it. My skin is much, much happier with zinc oxide and or titanium dioxide, so I generally only use products that have those ingredients in them, and I avoid chemical sunscreens at all cost. So that's a product that automatically I'm gonna write off and not be able to use. Then there is the Fat Water Pore Refining Toner Serum for $28. This is kind of a cool concept that basically you're, doing your toner and your serum in one. I think that does make sense. However, there are a few ingredients in this product that I'm like, not crazy to see. So the second ingredient in this product is witch hazel after the water, which some people love witch hazel toners. They're basically like an astringent, so it helps to kind of like temporarily tighten up the feeling of your skin, but they can also be very drying and they can be irritating over time. So generally I try to avoid witch hazels, denatured alcohol, things like that in my skincare, because I feel like as a person with oily skin, I kind of need to do everything I can to keep my skin's oil in check, and keeping it balanced means keeping my skin properly nourished and hydrated all the time. When my skin gets dehydrated, it cranks out like 10 times more oil, and then I'm just a greasy mess. There's also artificial fragrance and artificial coloring in this product, but they are at the very bottom of the list. So, without actually smelling it, I have no idea how fragrant it is. So it may or may not be that big of a deal depending on how sensitive your skin is. But I don't know, I'm pretty happy with the skincare that I have right now, and there was nothing in this that I felt like was so amazing that it would compel me to like go out and buy this product. And then finally, there's a cleanser, which I think makes sense. You have a cleanser, toner, serum, and moisturizer. So she is giving you everything you need for a complete skincare routine, including SPF, which I do think is great. But again, the cleanser to me, like, I don't know. It's a cleanser. There wasn't anything in the ingredients list that popped out to me as being super special. It's $25, which is like kind of up there, but not awful. Like one of my favorite cleansers is the Skin Fix Foaming Clay Cleanser, and that one's $28. So, I can't really complain about the price. I just know that I have like 10 bottles of cleanser in my bathroom cabinet right now, so there is absolutely zero reason for me to justify going out and buying this. And unless the skincare influencers that I watch say this is like the best thing ever and really, really recommend it, I probably won't be going out and picking it up. Okay, so just a couple more things. There's a lot. I probably could just keep going on and on and on for hours just looking at the Sephora website and the Ulta website talking about all the random crap that I don't want to buy. But for the sake of your time, we'll try to wrap things up. So Too Faced is launching this new face primer. It's called their Plump and Prime Luxury Face Plumping Primer Serum. I don't know why Too Faced always has to name their products these like epically long things, but they do, and it's really silly in my opinion. Anyway, this is a $42 product that has an epically long ingredients list. Like in my notes here, I wrote, "Holy ingredients list, Batman," because as soon as I saw it, I was like, dang, that's a lot. And immediately, the reason this like raises a red flag to me is that if your skin is sensitive or if you might have an allergy, there is so much stuff in here, it might be hard to pinpoint what might be causing it. So I would definitely say if your skin is at all sensitive, you may want to be careful and avoid this product because there is just a ton that's in there. And I mean, the primary ingredients are water and dimethicone, so for the most part, It's a silicone-based primer, and I really wonder how much of all those other ingredients is actually in the formulation. That's another thing to think about. When you have an ingredients list that's that long, I feel like each of those ingredients can only be in so much concentration of the whole product. Like the water and the silicone probably is gonna make up like 95% of the whole product. So I wonder how much actual benefit you'll get from everything else. It does have niacinamide kind of high up on the ingredients list, which is a really great ingredient. I have been loving niacinamide for my oily skin. It has really, really helped to rebalance it and kind of make it less greasy. Like normally I would be a total grease ball by this point in the day, and I feel like my skin has generally been a lot calmer since I have been using the Good Molecules niacinamide toner every morning and every night. But to that point, you can get a Good Molecules product for less than $15 and basically get like a better benefit of the niacinamide than you probably would get in this primer. So like, I don't know. I really don't know if this type of product would truly be worth it for the money. $42 is a lot for a primer. That's more than their new Born This Way matte foundation and their original Born This Way foundation. And I think they're able to kind of get away with that a little bit because they're kind of marketing this as a skincare product more than as a makeup product, and usually skincare products can kind of like charge a higher premium than makeup. But yeah, I don't know. I feel a little bit weird about this one. I'd be curious to see how it works for some people. I haven't seen any reviews on this yet. Maybe they're coming. If you've seen any, definitely let me know in the comments down below whose channel you saw a review on. But yeah, I think I am probably going to pass over buying this one for now. And then finally, I wanted to touch on eyeshadow palettes for a moment. There are a couple, honestly, that I'm not going to buy, and it's not because I necessarily think they're bad palettes. It's mostly just like I don't need these. Like the Natasha Denona bronze palette looks absolutely beautiful. I'm sure it's a really nice palette. However, I feel like those shades are super dupable within my collection because I really like warm toned neutrals and I have a bunch of them. Also, there's the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet palette. I think I'm going to be skipping on that. I do love purple, and I actually feel like the color story of that one is fun. It might just be that kind of like aqua-y shimmery shade that's really doing it for me. Something about that mixed in with the purples. Like I really like that aesthetic. But I have to remind myself, like, that is not the reason to justify buying a $49 eyeshadow palette. Like, I have the ColourPop It's My Pleasure palette. I have other purple palettes in my collection. So, like, that is something I know I definitely don't need. And again, could easily dupe. And finally, the same thing applies to the new Melt She's in Parties eyeshadow palette. I am just, I don't know what to do with Melt. Melt is a brand I really want to try. I'm so curious about their eyeshadow formula, but I feel like I have yet to find a palette of theirs that has spoken to my soul and has been the kind of thing that I'm like, I need that. I want to fork over the money because they're generally expensive. Like their palettes are not cheap. And I just haven't felt like one has been the right palette for me yet. And every new launch they come out with, I'm like keeping my fingers crossed that I'm going to be really into it. But again, like this one is probably the closest to something that I'd want to buy. I do really like purples and these are pretty tones, but it generally leans a lot more smoky. And I just don't wear smoky looks that often. So I don't know. Again, I just feel like this is something that probably would be kind of a waste in my collection and I probably shouldn't buy it. So alas, it may be yet again many more months before I get a chance to try Melt Cosmetics. All right, you guys, so I think that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed hearing me rant for half an hour about all kinds of random beauty products. If you did, I hope you will consider giving this video a thumbs up. I always appreciate your support so much. And again, if you're new and you want to see yours truly in your subscription box, I hope you will consider clicking that button before you go so we can, hang out together again in the future. I have finally actually been able to start filming some videos again for the first time since getting the new puppy, so I have lots of content planned to be coming your way very soon. And yeah, on that note, I'm gonna let you guys go, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.